Oh, you're so lucky. I'd love to be an only child. Would you? Would you really? The main problem with being an only child, talking about being an only child, is that I am an only child. Because I don't have anything to compare it to. But then, if I had brothers and sisters, then I wouldn't be an only child, so then I wouldn't be able to talk about this. Basically, you are a spoiled brat. Oh, you're an only child, spoiled brat there. Are we all just angry and aggressive and fiercely independent, but lonely and selfish? I don't know. I'm going to talk about some of my experiences and some of the things that I think I struggled with because of being an only child, except I don't actually know if it is because of that. I think I've always struggled to work with other people. What I found when I was a teenager was that I just get really annoyed at other people because I didn't feel like they were putting in enough. I felt like people wouldn't necessarily make a decision. I felt like I needed to make the decision. I got really conscious that, well, why don't I just do it on my own? And a lot of you may know me from when I was making music. I did it all on my own. I found it really difficult to work with other people. And then when I did work with other people, I found it difficult when they wanted to challenge me. That said, I work with a lot of people. I've had jobs since then. I've worked in teams, but I guess the biggest example is 1080 magazine, which is completely volunteer-led. Without the hard work of other people and the collaboration that's there, it wouldn't be made possible. I can work with other people, but I guess I've always found it difficult. I've always had this maybe assumption that, oh, I'm gonna have to do it all myself, and then I end up burning myself out, when actually it is better to collaborate. And so sometimes getting to that point takes my brain a little longer. Am I bossy and aggressive? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes when I'm passionate about what we're doing, I would balance that with, I am so conscious of upsetting people. Sometimes anger and aggressiveness like blurts out of me, and as soon as I know I've upset or offended someone, I'm so apologetic. I think realistically the biggest thing that has affected me by being an only child is loneliness. I always felt like I was alone, like even when I wasn't. And this has followed me through life. And if I'm honest, I think this loneliness has driven me from relationship to relationship to relationship. But when I'm single, I just can't handle it. Like, I have been single and survived. The loneliness is not actually related to my relationship status. It's this sense of like no one gets me. It has affected my friendships too, because I feel like I put a lot more in. I've fallen out with people when I've sort of expected them to be there for me, expected them to know when they've upset me or they've hurt me, and then they've not been there for me, and I've got really angry at them, like, why are you not there for me? You know, we're best friends, in a sort of, for me, it's family. That is kind of selfish, expecting them to give as much as I'm giving. Well, maybe they're just different, but all of this is out of fear of being alone. That's the voice in the head. It's like, they don't really get me. And suddenly your whole bloody friendship falls apart because of this weird sort of get-up that you have. I'm so self-aware of all these things, but I can't necessarily always stop them from happening. I can't necessarily stop the emotional response in the moment. Oh, I bet you're bad at sharing. Oh, you never had to share growing up, did you? Bet you always got what you wanted. That's where I have to disagree, because I actually think, as a result of being an only child, I am so compassionate. In fact, I fucking love sharing. Maybe I'll end up eating most of it myself, but then I'll buy another bag of it. I'll buy a bottle of wine. I spend more money than I actually have, trying to create a good time with a group of people to show them how much I love them and care. I overcompensate. You mean everything to me once you're a friend in my life or you're my boyfriend. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure for other people. But what I will say though is I'm not very good at shutting up, and I don't take criticism very well in the moment. Once my logical brain has caught up with me, I can handle it, I can deal with it. But in the moment, I can't. No, I have brothers and sisters bullying me all day, every day. You know, I was bullied at school and I shut the fuck up, but you know, I'm not used to just being shut down. Even if it's in jest, it hurts more than I know it should. Teoh's talking too much, he's boring everyone. Someone's made a quip to like quiet him down, and now he's in a huff. How selfish of him. As an adult, I don't have a natural partner in crime or someone to talk about, oh, that time when we were growing up. I've only got like my perception of how it was. And because of that, that puts more pressure on the other relationships I have. And it kind of makes me very needy with these people, which once again makes me seem very selfish because I need attention. all the time. After all this though, I'm actually quite happy to be an only child. I mean, I would have loved to have brothers and sisters. There are loads of things I can think of. Loads of people will be like, oh no, it's awful, it's awful. But there is one big thing that being an only child gave me. It was independence and forcing myself to be confident. Now as an adult, I feel shyness creeping in, and it's strange. I've done the reverse of most people. In my teen years, I was overconfident, in your face, and now I'm a lot more contained and self-conscious. But I'm grateful for it being that way around because I know more about myself. And I think I'm a lot more in touch with my emotions and I understand them a bit clearer. That's not to say that people with brothers and sisters don't. It's just more that I've never had to hide my emotions when I was younger. I've had a lot of time to think about my emotional state and why I do things and learn how to control them. Rather, when you're brothers and sisters, maybe you don't have that much time to yourself to figure it out, and it's only later in life that you start to define yourself. Perhaps the only child cliche is true, but it's also negative, unfair, and alienating, which is so important because it's about only children who already feel alienated anyway. The simple notion of, oh, you must have been so spoilt, or the assumption that you're going to be bossy, aggressive, or selfish, or you don't know how to share, when it happens to you in the moment, it really hurts. You try your hardest actually to not be these things. You're conscious of them, so it makes you feel isolated. When all you're really trying to do is connect with the world and be confident with yourself. Anyway, because I'm an only child, maybe I'm taking this all too a bit seriously, but tell me what you think. If you had brothers and sisters, what was your favourite part about it? What was the worst part about it? Try and get me to understand your position. And if you're an only child, please tell me you understand. Please tell me, because then I've got something else to worry about. Because if it's just me experiencing this, then fucking hell.